Today we're gonna talk about this phrasal verb, go through. We're just gonna try to understand every single meaning of this phrasal verb in different contexts, in different stories. But before we get started, I just want to show you a few things. I just want you to look at those lines that I marked with arrow sign.
I literally watch the Office bloopers when I am sad or going through something. Just know that you're not alone. There's lots of people who are also going through it.
Gals want to hand over your money now? That way we don't have to go through the formality of actually playing.
You know, it's nice to hear from people that like have gone through this and know what it's like and went through the shit of it and went through the amazing parts of it.
I can just imagine what goes through your mind when you're thinking about this. I mean, that's...
Wait, does he eat chalk? Just because I don't want her to go through what I went through with Carl.
Actually, yesterday I was going through.
Sometimes I'll just go through my Instagram DM. Hopefully, I actually go through with this video. So basically, I'm gonna go through these categories and pick a few videos from each category.
I'm not just going to scan a 300-page document and put it up before we have gone through everything.
I did that already.
Well, let's go through all the sitting congressmen one by one and see if anybody sticks out from the crowd.
There is so many different meanings of this phrasal verb, go through. And for instance, we use that expression, we use that phrasal verb go through. Instead of saying like experiencing something, you can say go through. Let's say you were in a relationship but you just broke up with your girlfriend or you just broke up with your boyfriend and you just feel so terrible, okay? You just feel so down. So you're just so devastated. Such a mess, okay? You feel so terrible, you feel so down. So basically you're going through this rough breakup.
I wanna hold the hand inside you. I wanna take the breath that's true.
Instead of saying like you're experiencing a rough breakup, you can say that you're going through a rough breakup. For instance, look at that.
He's going through a breakup.
He's going through a breakup, okay? Most of the time, when we use this go through in this context, it has negative meanings. You just feel so upset and so sad and you're not doing well. Like Ross, okay? Hi.
Hi.
You can see that he's going through a rough time.
You okay, sweetie?
I just feel like someone reached down my throat, grabbed my small intestine, pulled it out of my mouth, and tied it around my neck. Cookie?
Instead of saying like he's experiencing hard times, we can say that he's going through rough times or he's going through hard times.
Brother's going through that right now. He's such a mess.
In that scene, if you ever watch Friends, you know that we find out that Ross is getting divorced and we can say that he's going through divorce.
If this guy's going through a divorce, is it such a good idea to start going out with him?
Basically, you might be going through a breakup, you might be going through a divorce, things like that, and it has negative meanings. You don't necessarily have to go through a divorce or go through a breakup. You can experience other things too. You quit your job at this corporate and you feel like you're having money problem and you're going through hard times financially. Another expression, let's say you're going through a rough patch. This is an idiom, okay? Going through a rough patch. This is an idiom. Let's see what Michael has to say.
Well, I'm going through a little bit of a rough patch.
If you're going through a rough patch in your life, that means that you're having hard times. You're having hard period of time in your life, okay?
Whole year, actually. My favorite restaurant closed down.
His favorite restaurant closed down. He's not happy about it.
It's not been a blockbuster year for me financially.
And he's struggling financially, okay? He's having hard times financially because he says that it's not been a blockbuster year for me financially. Basically, guys, if you're going through a rough patch, that means that you're having this hard period of time in your life, okay? It might be a financial crisis. That might be your favorite restaurants closing down. For instance, I learn English with Kennedy. Most of the time, I learn English with The Office, I learn English with Friends, I learn English with How I Met Your Mother, House of Cards, The Crown, and many YouTubers. And along with these TV shows, I also learn English with Kennedy. And we see that Kennedy is using that.
A little rough patch mentally.
I had a little rough patch mentally. That means that I had a hard time mentally. Let's say you're struggling mentally. You're not in a good, mental state and you're struggling with mental health issues.
Because in the beginning, I was going through a lot of different mental health struggles.
Okay, I want to give you another example here. For instance, you know that Monica was in a relationship with Richard and then she breaks up with him and then she's going through this really terrible time. She's going through a rough breakup and she literally hits rock bottom. For instance, look at that.
God, what is wrong with me?
What is wrong with me? Yeah, that's always you ask after a breakup. I mean,
You need to get some sleep.
I need to get some richer.
I need to get some richer. I need to get some richer. So basically, you're going through this rough breakup and you're having this hard times. You're going through really hard times and you can say, Monica's going through a really rough breakup, okay? She feels terrible. She's going through it. She's going through it, okay? Okay, you can see right here, Monica literally hits rock bottom here. She's going through a hard time, okay? She's so depressed. She's so sad. She's feeling terrible. She's home. She doesn't want to go to work. She doesn't want to do anything but think about Richard. And this is where we can say, as Kennedy says, going through it.
So, what are you really doing here, Dad?
Well, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay.
What makes you think that I might not be okay?
She's not okay. She's not doing well. She's not in a good place right now because mentally she's going through a rough patch. She's having a rough patch mentally.
I want the baby to be born today.
Why? Why today?
Okay, fine. I keep betting Phoebe that you're gonna have the baby, and I don't want to lose again.
What? Well, she's been going through this hell.
Well, she's been going through this hell, you know? You're pregnant, you're in a very difficult situation because you're pregnant, contractions didn't start, going through hell, experiencing something very difficult, very hard. Okay, I just want to give you this example. In this scene, Phoebe finds out about her real dad, and that's so shocking to her, you know, and basically she's going through really hard times.
This is the real him.
Oh.
Hey, anyone here from Phoebe yet?
No, nothing. I hope she's okay.
Yeah, I know exactly what she's going through. How do you know exactly what she's going through? Because you can know, okay? This is not something that you can know. In order to understand what she's going through, you gotta be experiencing the same thing. And Phoebe finds about her real dad after like 30 years later, and Joey didn't experience anything like that, you know? Joey has a dad, Joey has a mother. Basically, it's gotta be something that you experience, okay? Of course, you know that Dakota Johnson is my only celebrity crush, and I love her so much. She's so kind and smart. She has a really good sense of humor. I love her so much.
I really love, my whole life, well, no, not my whole life, that's intense. But when I was little, I went through a phase where I watched Home Alone every day. Of the year.
Every single day you watch Home Alone?
Every day. I was really into it.
Her voice is so soothing. For instance, when I was learning English with friends, when I was learning English, at the beginning of my learning English process, I went through this phase where I watched Friends every single day of the year.
You've been pretty open about dealing with depression. Do you think that it is hard to deal with that while we're going through this pandemic?
While we're going through this pandemic, go through a pandemic. Instead of saying like experiencing a pandemic, going through a pandemic, okay? Pandemic, it's a very negative situation. Let's say someone's sick, cancer, terrible situation, going through a cancer, going through a pandemic, you're struggling mentally, terrible situation, you're going through a lot of mental health struggles. Or you broke up with your girlfriend, or you got divorced, you ended your relationship, you ended your marriage. It's a terrible situation. You can say that going through a divorce, going through a breakup, okay?
I wanna hold the hand inside you.
So you're just so devastated. You're such a mess, okay? You feel so terrible, you feel so down.
The breath that's true. I look to you.
It's not been a blockbuster year for me financially.
I look to you to see the...
And she literally hits rock bottom.
You live your life.
I just feel like someone reached down my throat, grabbed my small intestine, pulled it out of my mouth, and tied it around my neck. Cookie?
You'll come apart.
You're in a very difficult situation because you're pregnant, contractions didn't start.
Some kind of night into your darkness.
Every single day you watch Home Alone?
Every day. I was really into it.
Your eyes with what's not there.
I was really into it.
Her voice is so soothing.